Hey guys and gals, Malkuth 1974 back at you with another new series, Kerbal Space Program. This is going to be a sub-series. And what I mean by a sub-series is that means it's going to be like the light series I'm going to have on my channel. It's not going to be like the major one like every other day. It might be like once or twice a week. It's Kerbal Space Program. This is basically where my channel kind of almost started, but not really, because I did a lot of stuff before Kerbal Space Program, mostly Minecraft, but we won't get into that stuff. But today, I just want to tell you what this series is going to be about. This is not a normal Kerbal Space Program. This is a modified Kerbal Space Program. And I kind of looked around to see what people were doing for Kerbal Space Program. They're doing a lot of modded Kerbal Space Program, but not a lot of people are using this mod in a Let's Play. There's a few of them, but this is the main mod I'm going to use. And if you guys want to skip ahead to the action, I'm going to go over all the mods right now. Just skip a little bit ahead if you don't want to hear this stuff. But anyways, the main mod we're going to be using is called Kerbalism. Now, Kerbalism, I'm actually going to go to the website and read the main introduction. So, go beyond the routine of orbital mechanics and experience the full set of engineering challenges that space has to offer. This mod extends KSP by simulating the crew, the components, the resources, and the environment in a more complex way. All mechanics can be configured to some degree or even disabled if you don't like some of them. A big part of the mod is fully data driven, so blah blah. That's mostly, but what it basically does, it adds so you got your basic thing like your oxygen, you need food, you got like carbon dioxide. So think of all those types of mods. That's part of it. But it also has the environmental part of it, like how space is actually has radiation in it, and you have different radiation zones. So you have to worry about radiation, so you can have like shielding and stuff like that. Your habitat, your Kerbals don't like cramped spaces for too long of a time, so it also simulates that. Obviously the biological needs, they need food, water, and oxygen. Failure to do this stuff will have like death to it. There's also psychological needs that kind of goes with the habitat. They can go crazy because they're in the tin can too long, or stuff like that. So they need places to move around and all that stuff. Temperature is an issue for them. Plus the radiation, we'll start seeing the effects. Radiation part of the game makes this game extremely makes this mod adding radiation makes Kerbal Space Program extremely difficult of sending your Kerbals out to like places like Duna, and it has to be like carefully planned. And we have some other mods in to help us with that. We'll get into that stuff later, but you can like grow food in space and stuff like that to help with the food part of it. The ISRU converters can be set to like chemical processes, stuff like that. You can change things, or you can make stuff. Another big thing that I enjoy about this is it has reliability to your parts. Not all parts have it, but a lot of parts do have reliability for like different components, like your solar panels. And when you build your ships, you can set them up to like different quality standards, and the higher the standard, the longer they will last. So, I mean, if you're just going to a suborbital space flight, then you probably just want normal quality stuff. It changes the signal part of the Kerbal Space Program, different like high gain, low gain antennas. It changes the science and how you do it. It completely changes that. So it's going to probably look a lot of it's going to look foreign to you. But basically, with the science, data is collected and stored in the vessel and like solid state drives, instead of the stock science containers, which you're used to doing. So if you have a let me think of anything like a temperature gauge or whatever, you take the temperature gauge, that data is usually stored in that mod or that item. But this mod actually takes that out and stores it as data in a solid state drive that you might have in usually it's your main hub, or your main, like your cockpit or whatever it is. Or if it's like a probe, then the probe communication head or the body or whatever. I can't even think of it right now, but yeah, it's all that. It's an extremely interesting mod with what it adds. Some of the other stuff we have is I have basic delta V. That's going to tell me what my delta V and my vessels are while I'm building them. I also have basic orbit, which will give me some of my basic orbital readouts that I like to have while I'm going to orbit. I have a lot of the near future stuff. Pretty much I have every near future thing I can add to this thing. I know that's pretty big. That's like, you would think that was bigger than Kerbalism, but it's not. Near future just adds parts. Kerbalism like changes the game. It's like a total rip out of the game and adds to that. That's why we're using Kerbalism as the main thing of the game. Obviously, so I got like Scatterer and stock visual enhancement and Kerbal alarm clock. I believe I have Kerbal Joint reinforcement just came out today as I'm making this video, so that I just added that. Mission controller, which is my own mod that I develop and I release, I have that installed. And what else do we have here? I'm just kind of looking in here. I got CAS, Kerbal Attachment System. Yeah. Oh, Dmagic Utilities, which is part of, it has like contract windows and stuff like that. For the contract windows are a little bit better. And in fact, Dmagic, I have all his science stuff too. So like Dmagic Orbital Science. Dmagic also does the basic Delta V and the basic Orbit too. So that's all his mods. I have a lot of secondary mods that go with near future construction, so I don't really count those as anything. Yeah, so that's it. That's all I have right now. I might add stuff later, but who knows? So let's just get into a game. We are going to change a few things. I do have a resume. Let me get rid of this. I was just testing out, make sure everything was working, because a lot of times this stuff does not work. Let's start a new game. We're going to do Malkus Let's Play. You know, this is actually season 3, because I've done 2 seasons of Kerbal Space Program before. They were short seasons, but they were still a season. So I'm just gonna say Malkus. I might have actually done more. I don't know. And I'm gonna use my own icon for my own game, which is Malkuth Industries for my flag. It's hard to see, unfortunately. I might change that. Maybe I'll change that in the mod at some point. I might make it red. Yeah, I like red. We're playing a career mode, so we're going to go into difficulty mode and we're going to change things a little bit. Oh, I also have deep freeze in there. I forgot about that. Deep freeze goes with Kerbalism and allows you to freeze your Kerbals and send them. That's how we're going to kind of conquer the whole radiation thing, because radiation is deadly in this game when you actually have Kerbalism. So yeah, it's one of those things. And let's see. So allow reverting flights. I'm going to shut this off because Mission Controller has its own revert window, and I'm going to put the revert cost up to 15%, which is what that means. Again, this is part of my mod, Mission Controller, and it's something I just added. So we're going to go back to basic. So we're not going to allow reverting. So basically what Mission Controller does, it has its own revert button, and if you launch a vehicle and something happens and you want to revert, it's going to cost you 15% of the actual cost of the vehicle. That's the dry cost, not the wet cost with fuel, just the dry cost of the vehicle. So yeah, that's cool. And let's see, allow quick loading, yes. Missing crews respawn, that is a big no. Auto hire crew members, no. No entry purchase required on research. That I'd never put that on. That is like, that makes the game like so drag. It just drags. Indestructible facilities, no. Include stock vessels, no. Enable con network. Reentry heating is at 100%. We'll keep that there. Starting funds, we'll just keep that right there. Starting science, I usually up this, but for this Let's Play we won't up it. Starting reputation, so all this is the same. We do have advanced, so what's going to happen? Enable Kerbal experience, I don't know what that is. With this setting off, all strengths will start with a maximum experience. What? With this setting off? No, we don't want that. Kerbals level up immediately. You know, I'm going to put that on because it's just, I hate that aspect of it, so I'm going to change that. Allow negative funds in science, we're going to put that on. Part pressure limits, we're going to put that on. Part G-first limits, yes. Kerbal G first limits. Yes. Kerbal G-force tolerance is 1. What is that? Multiplier to how much G-force Kerbal. So that's like the multiplier. So if it's we should be all right with that. Resource transfers obeys cross always allow action groups. Yep. Part upgrades. Yeah. Oh, sorry, gonna say it requires signal for control, absolutely, and we do have plasma blackouts. Range modifiers, DSN modifiers. I'm not going to change any of this because Kerbalism pretty much negates all that. Enable extra. I'm pretty sure Kerbalism doesn't matter either with that, but deep freeze, electric charge required to run freezers, absolutely. If on, Kerbals will die if EC runs out or it gets too hot. That sounds kind of crazy. I don't know about that. I just want him to wake up if, like, yeah, we'll just have him wake up. Non-fatal comatose. All right. Well, this is a long episode just for choosing everything. Cost to thaw Kerbals, 10,000. This is all EC. Show power temperature. I don't know about that stuff. I really don't know. Let's see. Yeah, that's fine. So we'll accept all this. All right, we're good. Let's just start the game. Wow, that was 11 minutes of explaining all that to you guys. I apologize for that. And setting up the game. Man, darn. All right, so thanks I got it. So let's just get right into it. Let's go to the first mission. We want to gather scientific data. We can only have 2 max contracts, so we have 1 now. We will launch our first vehicle. So there we go. I don't think we can do anything in there yet. So, oh, can we get any? We don't have any science yet. Nope. So we can't do anything. So basically, we got our basic pods and stuff. So let's just get this going. So we got to use this. I could have changed the fact that you don't actually start with your Kerbal, but why? So there's literally nothing else I can use here. Utility. I do have the science stuff, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add one of those to like that. We do need the parachute, because we don't want that. So that's like that, and then we'll bring the first part up like that. That'll probably get destroyed. That's not a big deal. Kerbalism doesn't matter yet. Utility, science, can't do anything. We don't need that. Electrical, thermal. I'm just looking at everything I can get here. None of this matters. So this is like our first launch. It's not a big deal. Let's change things up a little bit. Jebediah won't be the first one. We'll put Valentina in there and we'll launch. Here we go. So I'm just gonna launch straight up and then just come back down. That should give us some money, and we should get some record contracts done. That doesn't even matter. I don't even need that on because this is a solid rocket booster, meaning we don't need, it doesn't have, you can't feather the engines. So here we go. Oops. I accidentally launched my parachute. That's terrible. I guess I should have staged it. Don't forget to stage stuff. Alright, so let's grab some Observe Mystery Goo stuff here. It's 5.6 science. Yes, that's fine. Yes, whatever. And we will do a crew report, which is fine. And I will just kind of time warp this to the ground. In fact, when I hit the ground, I'll be right back. Alright, we're almost there now. Let me slow this down a little bit. Hey, look, Malkuth Industries. Awesome. Hey, and we actually landed. Kind of cool. There's not much more I can do, so you can't even do another crew report. Oh, actually, I could. You know why? Because Kerbalism doesn't work that way. Alright, so, recover vessel. There we go. Oh, police going by the house. Awesome. Alright, so we got all kinds of different. We got a bunch of science. We're up at 24. We should be able to get us some new stuff now before we can go a little bit higher. So next, we got some of the money back. We gained some money. Awesome sauce. Let's go back to mission control because everything, we just completed everything. So the next thing we need to do is Escape the atmosphere. And can we do orbit Kerbin? Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, why not? We won't do it this time, but we'll try. Let me grab a few things here. We definitely want some better engines and some more science stuff and some TR-18A stacked decouplers. And let me see what we can get in here. Nothing major. I'm not going to get that far yet. I'm not going to grab that yet. These decouplers, gosh darn it. Submersible. The heat shields we're going to need. You know what? I'm going to grab this. Oh, I can't. You know what? We can, because what we're going to do is we have more science to grab. We can grab it right off of the launch pad. So I'm just going to go like this. I'm going to use the mystery goo again. And I'm going to do a crew report again. So we'll just go like this. We'll do a crew report. And actually that's 0. That's weird. And a mystery goo that should give us something. Yeah, 2.4. So that will actually get us to where we need to get. What are we at? 16 minutes? Cool. We'll go like that. So now I should be able to grab this. Oh, I'm also using a different tech tree, if you guys knew that. Again, this is part of the near future guy. He does Nerta. So it's just a bigger tech tree. It kind of splits things up, especially when you get that near future stuff. You don't want it all in one. Like, if it was the default tech tree, you'd have a lot of different stuff like that. So I'm going to grab this, which will give us some more science stuff where we can get more science. Then we can grab these other things. So that's why I went with that. And we can build a bigger ship now. Not much bigger, but a little bit bigger. And let me just grab the science stuff. That I'm going to grab the Geiger counter. That is part of Kerbalism, so that's why we have that. Anything else? And we got the temperature thing here. We're just going to throw everything on here like that. That's about it. This is part of Dmagic Orbital Science, so you know what? If I'm gonna land in the ocean at some point, we'll take one of those. Once I get this this part, we can't use this anymore. You know what? I probably can't use this anymore. Can I? Because will we get to space? so many decisions to make. We can do that later. Utility, we do have that. We do have that. Deep freeze, Kerbalism. Now we have like the food and the pressure tank, but I don't think we're gonna get that far yet. I'm a little nervous. Do we have thermal yet? You know what? I'm gonna grab the heat shields just in case I do manage to get us out of space into the space. I'm gonna couple this like this. I'm gonna use the fuel tanks. And what do we got for an engine? You know what? We're going to go like this. And then I'm going to use the coupler like that. And then, how's that split up here? Engine and engine, that and that. Okay. So that means now we need to go to the much bigger hammer. And we can do it again. Let's see. We got this. We do it one more time. We'll see where this gets us. It should get us much farther into space. Maybe even in orbit, but we can't obviously do anything. So TWR is 2.83. That's definitely too fast for our TWR. So I want to bring it down to 40. And then this one's way too high. So I'm going to bring this down to about 200. And then this one, I'm just trying to control our speed here, because that could be a problem for us. Okay, so there we go. There. So let's go. We'll launch. I could get a lot more. What we're gonna do is we're gonna get the science off the thing. We're gonna reload. What I mean by that is I'm going to grab this science, log pressure data. Actually, you know what? I can keep it in here because A Kerbalism again will clear these out. If you look at it, I can do it again. See that? That's just because it's cool that way. And again, we don't have to worry about anything. And oh, I didn't put fins on here. That could be that. It's all right. We're gonna go straight up anyway. And here we go. So there we go. Just a little bit of a slower takeoff. We're not doing like 800 miles an hour because we do have to worry about G-forces with our pilots. Oh, it's Valentina again. I didn't know I had her on there again. All right. So I don't think I don't have any gimbal on this, but we might be able to turn it. Let me see. Let me find out. We'll wait to let's wait to 100. Oh, I did turn it. Oh, interesting. So it's the command pod that's allowing us to do that. Again, that's mostly because. Ooh, but it is very difficult. Oh boy. Oh boy. I think I'm gonna lose it here. I'm trying to keep it together. It's not easy. Not easy being squeezy. It just wants to, I should have put fins on this. I have no idea how far I'm going. I do need to fix okay, so now we're leveling out a little bit more. That's a little bit. I do need to fix my orbital thing. I don't like this window like this. So what are we at for apoapsis? That's cool. So let's just do a little bit more. Go. I'm going to fix that now while we're here. Settings, transparency. I just like. I want to drag it. I know there's ways to get rid of half that stuff, so I just want to kind of put it up there for right now, out of my way. There we go. So there we go. We are basically going to hit space at 87. I'm going to do a crew report here, which will give us 5.4. I'm going to do another log pressure. I'm going to do... I should have got that science mod that allows you to do everything awesomely. There we go. So I'm glad I am glad that I brought... I did get the heat shield because we could have some re-entry issues here in a second. And I'm going to use this when we get into space. So we went suborbital for our second flight. That's not too bad. All right, so let's go like observe mystery goo. That'll open that up. Give us 8 science, record the data. Again, we'll do another crew report, which is awesome. And I'll take a Geiger counter reading. That was 8. Wow, we're going to be able to do pretty much doing everything. And I'll show you guys what I mean by what Kerbalism does. You're wondering where this all goes. If you look on the command pod, you should see data. So it says 2.04 gigabytes. If I had an antenna on this, I could transfer some of it, but not all of it. Like this I couldn't transfer, but some of it you could. So, but if you click on it, it gives you a list of everything that I've done, and if you want to transmit it or not, or if you can delete them. So data you can send, samples you cannot. Samples you have to return. So that's pretty cool. The radiation. If you look up here, this is the Kerbalism actual button, and if you click on your craft, it will tell you everything you need to know. It tells me that Valentina is in there, and it gives me her her climatization, or eating, or drinking, or breathing, CO2 poisoning, her stress, and her radiation. So we're within the radiation belt of Kerbin, so we don't really have to worry about too much radiation. It tells me my battery life, which is 42 minutes, how much food I have in this pod for this one Kerbal, which is 5 days. Same with the water, 5 days. Oxygen is just a little bit less with 4 days, 5 hours. And the nitrogen is 2 years. The nitrogen is what makes your gives you the pressure control inside of your vessel, inside, in this case, the pod. So it usually lasts a long time, but it's basically what pressurizes your pod. So now we're kind of dropping down. Let me break this off, and we need to get into a retrograde orbit, for we're not gonna have a bad day here. And let's just kind of fast forward it a little bit. We're at 69. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the SAS off. You're so crazy, Malkuth. Yeah, I'm crazy. I'm crazy. This should have the balance, but I'm afraid that with this thing on it, it's not going to balance it right. These pods should be almost evenly balanced to be in a retrograde orbit to enter just on the heat shield itself. So if you look at the heat shield, it's hard with that. You shouldn't see any parts beyond. That's why I kind of put everything up as high as I could. If parts leak over, or if, say, this mystery group container was kind of leaking, I could see it beyond the heat shield. It could cause us a problem with re-entry, and it could burn up. So you definitely want your heat shield to protect everything, and that's something to keep in mind while you are launching. So let's get this guy going. So you don't really need the heat shield with a re-entry of like 1200 ms. It's not very much. I'll hardly use any ablator armor on this. I didn't think I used any at all. But it's just a good habit to have to put those on, because, hey, you never know. And we'll have our parachute open here. It's not ready yet. The parachute is red, so that means that we can't now. Okay, we could do it now if we wanted to. But I usually wait until about 2,000 meters or 2,500 meters. We're going to land in the water anyway, so it's not a big deal. So we're getting down. There's 25. So I'm going to open the chute now. I'm going to take the SAS off. And by the time we get to 800, it should open for us. I should have got real chutes too. I haven't used real chutes in a long time. But, you know, I kind of like the Kerbal chutes now. They kind of work now, so it's kind of cool. All right, so we're just going to time warp down to the bottom. So there we go, our second launch and our last launch of this episode. We'll see what we actually got for what we need. Can I do another crew report? I can. That means we can do another temperature. 3.2. We can do another log pressure. And we should be able to do another radiation. So there we go. We got a pretty good amount of stuff that time. Let's see what we got here. All right. So we got 114 science in that launch. That's like epic. We're gonna spend that next episode. The funds were at 285, which is great, and reputation we got 55, and Valentina is up there a lot. So, as always, guys, if you're enjoying the episode and if you like this episode, the Kerbal Space Program episodes, hit that like button. Remember, this is a sub series, so you're only going to get maybe 1 or 2 episodes a week, and it's up to you guys if they can continue or not. So we'll see you guys later. This is Malkuth 1974. Have a great day. Malkuth out of here.